Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes. Now, tell me the name of your city or state without telling me the name of your city or state. Tell me the name of your city or state without telling me the name of your city or state. Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes. Now, tell. Yes. Tell me the name of your city without telling me the name of the city, guys. Come on. Hmm. Nice. Wonderful. I think we are all set. Yes. Cool. So let me just go ahead and start sharing my screen. Hmm. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the AI Builder Sprint. Last year, around the same time, we have conducted the AI Sprint, where we talk about the fundamental concepts of how you can use AI, how you can understand how AI is built, and these kind of things. But in this session, we are going to do something different. Which is rather than going through the conceptual knowledge of how all of these things connect and do all of these things, we are going to focus on more the building part. And why we are focusing on the building part and what we are going to build, how the sessions are going to look like, I'm going to exactly tell you this in today's session. So these sessions this is a 3-day boot camp. Day 1, we are going to do something else. Day 2, we are going to do something else. And day 3, we are going to do something else. Now, my request is very simple to all of you. That first is, make sure that you are able to focus in the session. Like, make sure that distractions such as mobiles or something else is away, because if you're not able to focus in the live sessions, you will not be able to learn much. That's the first part. Second part is, please take this like a antibiotic course or a medicinal course that you are taking, which is, if you only attend 1 day or 2 days, and if you do not attend all the 3 days, I'm not sure if you'll be able to get the whole value, right? So in order to create and complete the whole loop, you need to make sure that you are joining all the 3 sessions. It is my responsibility that all the sessions would be interactive. You will not feel bored in the session, but make sure that you are also putting the hard work and joining all the 3 sessions. We are also streaming this live on YouTube, so you'll also get the recording. But my personal recommendation would be that try to join it live, because that increases the attention that you might have. Right? So a quick yes on everyone. If you are able to see my screen, if you can see me, and if I am perfectly audible to all of you. Yes. Cool. So let's start. Yes. Let's start. And I'll also ask people that please do not focus in the chat, because there are so many people. Like, we are on the limit of Zoom 500. I'm sure many people will be joining on YouTube. So if your friends are trying to join, and if they are not able to join, please send them this link that I have sent in the chat. This is the YouTube live streaming link. And while you are at there, make sure that you subscribe the channel as well, because so much other content is also planned. Right. So now everyone, please focus on the screen. We are finally starting the day 1 of the AI Builder Sprint by HelloPM. Yes. So this is going to be the 3-day story. This is going to be the 3-day story. The 3-day story has been divided into 3 acts, Act 1, 2, and 3. And each act contains 3 scenes. So every day I'm going to give you 3 ideas. If you forget everything, but only remember the 3 main ideas that I'm giving you, I'm sure you should be able to get the return on investment on your time. Right? And this is not going to be a theoretical session. In the end, you are going to build something every day at the end of the session out there. Right? So the first thing is, in today's session, we are going to understand the AI landscape. What is happening in AI and why you should be taking this as an opportunity rather than be anxious about it. The second part is, we'll talk about what is the right method of learning GenAI and what is the wrong method. And I'm also going to tell you multiple fundamental concepts today, so that you can be more informed about AI and you can call yourself an AI literate person. And the third part is, I'm going to give you a small project like a funny project to build today. And then eventually at the end of the session today, you will have something tangible that you can post on your LinkedIn profile, you can put in your portfolio, and you can showcase to the world. And you can formally start calling yourself a novice product builder. Right? And the second day, which is tomorrow, we are going to talk about the AI builder levels. I'm going to give you 5 to 7 levels of what an AI builder looks like. Then we are going to talk about the power framework, which is, how do you leverage AI, not just as someone who knows how to use tool, but someone who is a real good business problem solver, right? Because this is where the money is. And the third part is, we'll talk about the post creator agent. So tomorrow also, in the end, we are going to build a real AI agent, where it is going to do some research and create and post on LinkedIn on your behalf, right? And the third part is, we are going to go ahead and talk about the act 3. In the act 3 is, or the day 3, we are going to talk about the ultimate AI builder workflow, which is, if you want to build anything with AI, what is the workflow that you need to follow? The second is the tools of the trade, which are what are some hand-picked tools that you should be knowing rather than putting your mind around and spending your time and resources and efforts across for you. You are going to build it by, which is open customization. So it will become your own personal GPT, right? So this is the agenda of 3 days. Yes, everyone, a quick yes or no if I am audible and you are able to understand the agenda. Cool. I think okay. So I think you guys lost me in between. Okay, so day 3 agenda is I'll give you the ultimate AI builder workflow so that you people are able to understand what do you need to do, what are the steps that you need to follow in order to build anything and everything with AI. Second part is I'll tell you all the curated tools, like not a lot of tools, but specific tools, so that you do not have to waste your time in choosing and trying out multiple tools. And the third part is you will actually build your own personal GPT, where you are not limited by OpenAI's model or Anthropic models. You can use any model and you should be able to evaluate them. You should be able to consider this as your personal GPT, right? So this is the 3-day roadmap. Now, tomorrow and day after, I'm going to ask you to install some tools before you come to the session. But for today, you are good to go, right? Everyone, a quick yes or no if you're able to understand the agenda. Yes. All the tools like anti-gravity, cursor and all, they will be mentioned here, guys, right? So let us go ahead. Again, guys, I'm requesting some of you to please open your cameras so that it is easier for you to go ahead and focus. Yes. Cool. All the tools that I'm going to teach you are free or freemium. So you do not need to spend any money in order to buy the tools, right? So let's go ahead and talk about Act 1, Scene 1. Everyone, please focus on the session right now. Okay. Act 1, Scene 1 is what is happening. There is one part of the world which is saying, there is one kind of the people who are saying that AI is like the Skynet. Either it is completely useless or it is going to go ahead and destroy the humanity. It is not good for people. While on the other hand, there are some people who look at AI like this character. Can anyone go ahead and name the character that is there on the screen? The girl, the tiny girl, if you remember. Yes, Vicky, VICI. Yes. Yes, nostalgia, right? So it can either be helpful or it can be harmful, and the world is divided, right? Understand, today I'm not here to debate about what it is and what it is not. I just want to go ahead and help you understand what is the reality that is happening in the market, right? So this is the scene 1. The scene 1 says that the AI revolution has arrived. The AI revolution has arrived. The companies that did not existed some years ago are bigger than the biggest of the conglomerates. So OpenAI, $852 billion valuation very recently, couple of months ago. Anthropic hitting at almost $1 trillion. XAI has been valued at $250 billion, and the parent company has recently been valued at almost $1 trillion, SpaceX. Right? All of these companies are the native AI companies. Similarly, the companies which are betting on AI, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Nvidia, all of them have grown 2x to 10x in the last 4-5 years. Right? So the market is clearly seeing some value in what these AI companies can do and what is their potential. Now, if you want to understand this, understand that Google has been there for more than 25 years now, right? Google has been there for more than 25 years now. In the initial 25 years, they have added $1.1 trillion in terms of valuations and value. And just in the last 3 years, they have added almost 4x of that value. Right. Similarly, consider Nvidia. They have been there in the market creating GPUs for games for so many years now. They added 400 billion dollars of value in the initial 20, 30 years. But now in the last 2, 3, 4 years, they have added almost 10x the value. Right. Apart from this, there are also some other AI native companies which are building on top of these AI models or infrastructures. Right. These companies are Cursor, currently like just recently sold to SpaceX for a valuation of $60 billion. Glean, $7 billion. This is a company, this is a tool that lets enterprises implement AI on their knowledge base. So if your company has so many messages, so many documents and all, Glean can put a chatbot on top of it so that you can go ahead and interact with your company's documents without searching for it. Right. Third is 11 Labs. I'm sure all of you might have seen the audios of 11 Labs and all. A company which was not existing few years ago is now $11 billion. And then Perplexity, which is $21 billion. Right. People cannot stop calling it prepper, but this is where the value is. Right. So this is the GenAI revolution. But look at this and tell me if you are able to understand what is happening in this meme. Yes. Wonderful. Understand this. Now, guys, this might mean that we are in the hype cycle, which is companies are valued so much and then the valuation go down. That has happened in the dot-com bubble as well. But if you guys remember the dot-com bubble that happened in 1999 and 2001, at that point of time also, the stocks were pumped and they were dumped. However, right now, if you look at, although we want to call it a dot-com bubble, but right now, if you look at the top 20 companies of the world or the Fortune 500 companies, you will see that most of them are actually internet-based companies. So the stock market can go up and down. You have to think for yourself and understand, is there any kind of value in this particular technology or not? Right. So rather than looking at it as a hype, you should go ahead and think for yourself. Right. So answer this question, everyone in the chat. Which GenAI tool have you used last time and when? Yes. Which basically means that AI has value. It is just that we need to figure out how to go ahead and leverage that value. Right? Enterprises are trying hard in order to generate that value. Right? In personal life, we have been able to go ahead and find some of the other. Right? So one is about your personal opinion about how you are using AI. Second is the market opinion. Right? And now let's go ahead and talk about the company opinions as well. Just give me a moment. Let me show you one report. Yes. So what we have done is we have gone through, yes, what we have done is we have gone through multiple research reports that are recently published by leading companies such as MIT, such as Stanford, such as McKinsey. And we have been able to, like, I just gave all of these reports to Claude Fable. And then I asked it to create a report on what is happening in the industry. Right. And then we were able to find some very interesting numbers. Let me show you that. Right. Let me go ahead and show you that. First of all, the salaries, and understand this is not made up data. I am also going to give you this link and you can go ahead and verify all the resources, right? So first, more than 60% of companies and 60% of premium is given to people who have the AI skills versus who do not have the AI skills, right? People who have AI skills are sought to grow faster in the enterprise and the business landscape, right? And most of the companies have AI skills mentioned in almost all of their job descriptions. I'm not talking about PMs, I'm not talking about engineers, I'm talking about almost all job descriptions. Marketing, sales, automation, every kind of job is now having some or the other kind of AI skills that are needed. Right. Then we have gone through multiple tags that are mentioned. Right. So by looking at the multiple keywords, we are able to see that artificial intelligence is actually fighting with the number one skill, which is communication. Right. So it is in top 3 among communication, artificial intelligence, and management. Right. So it is not about you like AI or not. It is not about AI is hype or not. Businesses have been able to find the value in AI, and they have been able to understand that, yes, we need to use AI in order to remain competitive in the environment. Right. And although this contains a lot of data, let me go ahead and tell you the important part. Let me go ahead and tell you the important part here, which is what are the things that are going to be like when we talk about AI skills and you should learn AI, what do I exactly mean? So understand, these are the skills ranked. The number one skill that most of the companies need when it comes to AI is building with AI, which is, can you go ahead and use AI to build something and solve problems? I'm going to, like, all of these 3 sessions are only pointed towards that particular subject. The second is prototyping. Initially, it was very difficult to create prototypes, and because prototypes are experiments, most of the companies were not willing to spend time and money on creating prototypes. With AI, it is much easier, right? Workflow design. Now, in old way, we used to go ahead and get a lot of people to work on multiple tasks. Now, every company is focusing on building AI-driven workflows. And I'm sure your company would also be doing something or the else, and you know about it, right? And the third part is judgment. Now, this is a very important skill, like the fourth skill, which is, now that AI can do so many things, what is good, what is bad, what is going to work with the customers, what is going to work in the market is something that you need to figure out. So initially, what used to happen was just taking a step back, in the chat, everyone tell me how many of you are from product management background. Tell me in the chat, guys, if you are from product management background. Wonderful. Yes, many of you are. Let me just go ahead and show you this. Okay, I've heard that. You can stop now. Yes. Cool. Now look at this. I'm just giving you example from product management, but this is happening across the industries, across the job roles. So talking about the first part, right? So as a PM, you basically do 3 things. First, you discover, which is you understand the customers, you understand the market, you create the product strategy, you create the product roadmap, you understand the data so that you are able to decide what to build. right? This is called as the discovery part, right? The second thing that you do is once you have understood what to build, now you are going to work with your team, such as developers and designers, in order to make it, which is called as delivery. The first part is discovery, deciding what to build. Second is delivery, building it. And the third part is distribution, which is how do you collaborate with the marketing and the sales team in order to take the product out in the market, getting the users and earning the money from the same. Right. So the simple framework to understand product management is you do discovery, you do delivery, you do distribution. Now, people who are product managers or product management professionals in the chat, tell me, ideally as a product manager, where you should spend most of your time. Tell me, ideally as a product manager, where you should spend most of your time. People on YouTube, you should also go ahead and use the chat option, or you can also use the comment option. Yes. Most of the people agree when I talk about discovery. Right? Now, stop everyone. Stop and listen to this. Now, my next question is, all of you agreed, almost 90% of you agreed that you should focus on discovery. But now tell me, in reality, where do you spend most of your time? Discovery, delivery, or distribution? Yes. So what happens is, although you are supposed to do discovery and find out the greatest ideas of the world, because you understand your engineers are going to become a bottleneck, your designers are going to become a bottleneck, and for doing one task you have to follow up with 10 people. What you do, because you already understand delivery is going to take so much time, what you do is you go ahead and try to focus more on delivery so that I can build this thing rightly rather than building the right thing. Right? So every product manager, even someone who is just reading about product management, they know that discovery is important. But even the best product managers of the world, they are stuck in just following up with marketing team, their sales team, their developers, their designers in order to get the work done. And because of which what happens is that generally as product manager, you start taking very, very safe decisions. So you have an amazing idea. What you do is, you just go ahead and try to research on that. But no matter what kind of research that you do, you are never convinced that this idea is going to work without shipping something to the customers. That is the reality of the market. Every idea that you take right now, you take Google, you take Facebook, you take Spotify. If I talk to you that idea on day 0, it will look like a stupid idea, right? But people build, they take the feedback, and then they go ahead and iterate from there. Right? So because of which what happens, most of the product managers, because they understand that delivery is going to be very tough, they go ahead and focus more on making things easier than making the things right. Right? Tell me, guys, agree or disagree if you agree with the sentence. Now understand. AI is a hope here. AI is a hope. Because the cost of building things, understand, I am going to tell you in this program, it is my promise, how to build. But because it is so easy to build, understand, I am saying it is so easy to build because I can teach you how to build in just 3 days. So you can understand, if I can go ahead and promise to a room of people coming from so many different backgrounds, even without knowing your background, that I can train you how to build things with AI in just 3 days. So you can understand that the cost of building and the skill of building is coming almost to zero. Right. So now you are unlocking a new power that if you can build so many things quickly, it is easier for you to go ahead and focus on the right things. Right. Because now you can conduct so many experiments as well. Right. You can go ahead and conduct so many experiments as well. Right. So the AI is unlocking a lot of power for you as a product manager so that you can do better discovery. Better discovery means people think that discovery means only going ahead and talking to the users and doing the research. No, guys. Discovery also means understanding what you can from interviews, from surveys, from talking to people, but then going ahead and building something very small, showing it to the users, getting their feedback, so that before you go to the developers, you have something that is more backed by data. Right? A quick yes on everyone if you're able to understand this. Right? And now understand one more thing. That there are plethora of UI AI use cases that people have been able to identify. In your personal life, you are using AI for taking advice from AI, decision support. For example, if you are taking a decision, you always, I know, even if you don't agree to it, I know that you guys are always going ahead and talking to AI in order to take some decisions, right? For many of you, AI is also an emotional and professional reflection tool. It is good or bad, that's a different thing, but I'm sure you guys are doing that. Everyone is doing that, right? AI is also used for coding and building software, writing and communication, learning and studying, and multiple life courses. When you go ahead and go on a trip right now, you go ahead and ask AI to create an itinerary for you. When you have a lot of data, you go ahead and ask AI in order to go ahead and simplify it for you. Right? In the chat, can you guys tell me what are you using AI for as an individual? Tell me your use cases of using AI. Don't tell me research, guys. Research is a very vague term. What do you research? Amazing. Yes. Now look at this. In businesses also, now this is where the money is. In businesses also, the businesses are creating customer support agents. If there are so many customers that are coming to your customer support asking questions, the AI can now not only answer them, it can take actions on them. If someone wants a refund and the refund is very low risk, maybe less than $2, the AI can do it by itself. Right? For software engineering, AI is used at scale. Almost all the companies of the world are using AI. You talk to any friend who is working in a tech company, ask them that, do your engineers have subscription for Cursor or Anti-Gravity or Cloud Code? I can tell you almost 100% of them are going to say yes. Right? Content design and production. Now I'm sure you guys are on YouTube. Every second ad is built through AI. Right? Third, information processing. Now, there are a lot of banks or a lot of companies who give you loans. In order to give loans, they need to understand your credit score. They need to understand 10 documents that you are going to submit. Initially, a person is going to set it, he is going to or she is going to understand the documents before signing the loan. Now, AI can do this information processing and 100 kinds of information processing in just a couple of minutes. Right? Third, fraud and risk detection. Right? You can go ahead and do so many things in fraud and risk detection with AI. I'm sure I do not have to tell you what are these kind of use cases. Forecasting and planning, it has been a very old use case of AI. Right? How does Netflix knows what to go ahead and recommend you next? Right? Internal knowledge search. Your company is a big company. It is sitting on a lot of data. But every time you need to find any data, you go to your data science team or your data analyst, you ask them to run a SQL query and then you get the answer. This is inefficient. Now AI and tools such as Glean can go ahead and give you one interface, and you can go talk to your knowledge base just with the help of natural language. Right. And I'm also going to tell you in these sessions how these systems are created. Then there are agentic workflows. Right. Agentic workflows. As in, I can not just search information. I can go to MakeMyTrip. I can click on their AI assistant. I can say that go ahead and plan a trip for me from India to London to Switzerland and back to India in the cheapest possible rates, so that I only am traveling in night. You can give such a complex term to their AI, and it will not only give you the itinerary, it will go ahead and search for you. It can also go ahead and book flights for you with your permission. Right. So information is now meeting action. Right. And this is also an example of the customer facing agent, which is customers are going ahead and using these agents rather than clicking the buttons or typing something. They're actually going ahead and doing actions in your product with the help of natural language. Right. Yes. Can you guys tell me in the chat, what your company can use AI for? Tell me the name of your company and tell me what do you think they can use AI for, or they are using AI for. Everyone, do a quick exercise. Tell me in the chat the name of your company and what they can or they are using AI for. Yes, everything is not an answer, guys. Task is not an answer. Give me something specific. Yes. So right now, many people are talking about research. They are talking about automation. They are talking about information processing. Understand? These are high-level answers. In these 3 days, I'm going to give you a framework so that you do not remain high level. You are specifically able to tell that this is what I'm going to do with AI and this is how I'm going to do this. Right. Now, I'm sure you guys are able to understand so many use cases of AI. Now, let me give you a reality. Because there is one thing that we learn from history that we do not learn anything from the history. Right. Understand, guys. Internet, World Wide Web, was born in 1990. Right. It took us 4 years in order to get to the first search engine. Almost the first engine. Yahoo was not actually, it was Excite, but the same time. Right. It took us 5 years in order to get to first and second shopping website. It took us 8 years to get to music sharing on AI, on internet. It took us almost 16 years in order to get to Twitter, 14 years to Facebook, and 17 years to a good email like Gmail. Right. And it took us almost 20, not 26, but maybe 30 years in order to get to quick commerce, such as Zepto and the DoorDash of the world. Right. Understand? We are in this phase of AI right now. We are in this phase of AI right now. Right. You can see right now, if you are able to understand so many use cases, what is going to go ahead and happen going forward. Right. So all of us actually are sitting on a lot of potential. There are 99% of use cases of AI which are going to help the humanity that we have not even thought about right now. Right. So the best advice that I can give you right now is to go ahead and open your both hands and embrace AI and make sure that you are able to take best of this opportunity. And understand, guys, it is not difficult. Right. So the purpose of scene 1 was to make sure that you guys understand that what is happening with AI. Right. So tell me, guys, in one line, what is your takeaway from scene Yes. Look at AI as a potential, right? So right now, AI is like a seed. By looking at the seed, you cannot say that it is going to grow into something or the other. It is going to go, how big of a plant it can become, right? But your purpose as an opportunist is to make sure that you are able to do best with that seed, which is give it the right environment, work on it, plant it, give it the right kind of maybe water and take care of it so that when it grows, it is able to help you out, right? And by taking care of the plant, I mean you should go ahead, and learn AI, right? You should go ahead and learn AI, right? And all the things about that, there is so much water that is needed to go ahead and use AI, or there are so many GPUs that are needed, or there are so many, let's say, environmental effects or negative effects of AI. Understand, guys? All of these problems are solvable, right? All of these problems are solvable. You can either be on one side, which is pessimistic and letting go of this opportunity, or you can be on the other problem solver side. It is your choice, right? And also, in the last session on the third day, I am going to give you such use cases of AI that you should be able to think beyond the professional work. Understand, AI is not such a small piece of technology that can only be spent in getting people to make more money or become more productive. There are some very pressing problems of humankind that only AI can solve at scale, right? So we are going to talk about, but on the third day. Right now, let's focus on making sure that you are full hands on learning AI. Right now, let's talk about scene number 2, which is learning GenAI. Right. So many people, when they think about learning GenAI, on day 0, it looks like this. Can you guys guess the movie? Yes. When you make up your mind to learn about AI, so what happens is some of your friend has got a good job and they have put AI in their resume multiple times, or you have been able to inspired by maybe a job description which says that if you get AI, we are going to give you this much money, right? So you are inspired either by LinkedIn or a friend or maybe some of the job descriptions, and you go ahead and start creating a plan for yourself. On day 0, you go to Chat GPT, you go to Claude, and you just go ahead and create a long list of things that you can do. This is how you feel on day 1, right? But many people make a mistake, right? And that mistake has been a fundamental learning across all the topics that you have learned. So every time when you want to learn something, everyone will tell you that start from the fundamentals. If you want to learn how to write a spelling, or if you want to learn how to communicate, start with the alphabets, right? But with AI, that is actually paradoxically a mistake. Understand, AI is right now, the AI that we are using is a high level use case. If you go deeper, we have AI. Below this, we have deep learning. Then we have machine learning. Then we have statistics. And then we have maths. When you search on the internet about how do I make sense of GenAI, you are going to get this ladder. And if you make a mistake of going to the fundamentals of AI in order to learn that at this point of time in the world, then you are making a very critical mistake. I'm sure you guys are going to feel like this. Tell me yes or no if you're able to understand the situation now. Yes. So I am giving you a very controversial piece of advice. And the piece of advice is, please, please do not start from mathematics, statistics, machine learning in order to learn about AI right now. It is not the way. You will demotivate yourself in just 1 week, and then you will think about something else. right? When someone becomes a computer programmer, yes, they're like, for example, I'm sure many of you might be doing software engineering. You have also learned about 8080 processors, 8086 processors. You have learned about how electron flows and everything. But understand, most of the things that you are using in computer science right now in your job, that you have learned in a couple of years, right? But because you are a student, you have spent maybe 18 years of your life in learning in this school and 5 years of life or 4 years of life in doing an engineering degree, that was justified. Right now, at this point, it is not. Unless if you are so intelligent that you can go ahead and learn all the computer science and statistics concepts already, you would have done it already. Right? So please make sure that you do not waste a lot of your time in going to unnecessary fundamentals. Learn about the applications. And that is what I called as purpose-driven learning. Purpose-driven learning. What is purpose-driven learning? Rather than going to the fundamentals of the apple fall on Newton, and that is how he discovered everything, and that is how things are going to go, you go ahead and start with a purpose. Right? So we had a student very recently at HelloPM who is in the, I think, 4th trimester of his MBA. Now, in MBA, what happens is you have to choose subjects. There are about 20 subjects and maybe about 35 to 40 credits. Some subjects have 2 credits, some subjects have 4 credits. So it becomes like a permutation and combination game for people in order to decide the right topics and the right credits so that they are able to work within these credits. Right? So this person, what he did was, he actually created a product or a small app through which his friends and his other colleagues as IMs can go ahead and use this in order to decide what subjects they should take. Right? So a very interesting problem. So he has a purpose, and for that purpose, he came, he learned everything, and eventually he was able to go ahead and build something, he and his bunch of friends. This is called as purpose-driven development. Very recently, I had a friend who is almost like maybe about 48 years old, never coded in his life. He runs a grocery shop in a small town of Gwalior. Right? He called me to say that he has recently built an app through which he can manage his inventory, and he can send proposals to his wholesaler clients, like to his wholesaler friends. And he built it all on Lovable and Google AI Studio. Someone who did not know how to code. Understand, if he would have learned from scratch about just for learning, then maybe he would have gotten overwhelmed. But he had a clear purpose. So make sure that you become a problem solver rather than learning for the sake of learning. Because if you learn for the sake of learning, there are so many things in the world to learn. You will easily get overwhelmed. Right? A quick yes or no, everyone, if you're able to understand this. Purpose-driven learning. Right? When you try to build something that is a use case, then it is easier for you to motivate yourself and go forward. Right? Having said that, I do not want you guys to be misinformed as well. Misinformed as in, it's not that you should know how to prompt AI well. As a responsible person, you should also know what are the building blocks of AI. So that if you're building your own product, you should be able to understand the fundamentals. I'm not saying that you should go into the fundamentals of machine learning and statistics, but there are some high-level stuffs and keywords that you should be knowing whenever you want to go ahead and build with GenAI. Understand, here, we are talking about GenAI. We are not talking about the whole AI. The whole talking, the valuation, and every opportunity right now is for GenAI. Right? And GenAI works on a piece of technology. Can you tell me, at the center of GenAI, what is the technology that is being used? What is that piece of technology that is at the center of all of this GenAI revolution? Yes, correct. Large language models. Large language models. Right? So now, everyone, please focus on this. I am going to tell you some fundamentals about large language models. This is the vocabulary that you should be knowing of. This will be helpful for you not only in order to understand how GenAI works, but in many interviews, people are going to ask you this question. This is like a common tech lingo, common AI literacy that every company is asking. Right? So understand, you are a human, and how you learn is that you have either read some books, or you have interacted with people, or you have done some observations, or you have been in an environment because of which what happens is you have been able to identify patterns. And when you identify patterns, if a new situation comes to you, you are able to also try to solve that particular situation. Right? So human beings learn by exposing themselves to multiple situations, then learning the patterns, and then as they move forward, they keep on learning. Right? So LLMs work in the same way. What happens in LLMs is, LLMs are just a piece of algorithms, like very big mathematical functions comprising of numbers, right? Where what we do is, we first collect a lot of data. So how do you learn? You have to expose yourself to knowledge. So what we do is, there is a phase called as pre-training. Right? Let me step out from here and get here. Okay, look at this carefully, everyone. So what we do is, in order to create a large language model, we have a phase. Phase number 1 is called as pre-training. In the pre-training, we need to collect a lot of data so that we are able to show this data to the algorithm, and algorithm can start learning. Right? So we collect the data from the internet, from the books, and multiple other places. Then we clean the data. Right? And we break the data into smaller parts so that we can feed it to the LLM. Right? You do not consume all the data at once. You consume a sentence, a book, an idea at a time. Right? So we have to collect this data. Now, these are words such as dog, such as cat, such as kitten, such as bank, such as bat. Right? But algorithms or computers can only understand the numbers. Right? They can only understand numbers. So how do you make sure that these things are understood to a computer algorithm, which is your large language model? So what we do is, we have a concept called as vectors. Okay, so understand, how do you differentiate between a cat and a kitten? Tell me in the chat, everyone, how do you differentiate between the cat and the kitten? Yes. You look at age, you look at size. Right? How do you differentiate between a dog and a cat? Yes. How it looks, how they behave. Right? So now what people were able to find, that if we are able to understand the features as in, look at this. Dog, or maybe better than dog, a better example is a man, a woman, a king, and a queen. Right? A man, a woman, a king, and the queen. Now, how do we differentiate between man, woman, king, and queen? The first part is obviously the gender. The second part is their royalty. The third part is the amount of money that they have. The fourth part is the amount of authority that they have. Right? And now, men, the gender is 1. He is a male. Woman, the gender I can, You can either say it 0 or you can tell it -1. Right? Then king, gender is 1. Queen, gender is 0 or 1. Royalty. The man is, maybe they are not completely royal, but in their home they are royal. Right? So maybe 0.1. A woman is the queen of her house. So maybe 0.2. A king is always king. And maybe she is 0.9. Right? Accordingly, you can fill all of these things. Now you are able to understand that for these features, we are able to assign numbers. So what I can do is, I can, in order to represent a man, I can write a number. 1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and things like that. So I can decide multiple features, and then I can give numbers common across the things, and then I can represent a real physical quantity or a noun or a word in the real language into the computer language. This is called as vectors. A quick yes or no, everyone, if you're able to understand this. Yes. And also, how is it done? How this is done? This is also done through going through a lot of data. So understand, internally, the model is not looking at king as a male or something. This is, I have told you, for understanding. Right? But what model does is, model understands the image, it understands the word, it understands multiple other words from which it is used, and then it assigns a meaning. Right? I do not know what the features are. You do not know what the features are. The scientists do not know what the features are. This is the black box. Right? So in OpenAI, the embedding that they use, the vector that they use, there are more than 500, 1500 actually parameters or features. Right? So this is how, for every word, we are able to assign a vector. Right? So now these vectors are converted into tokens, and then we are able to feed them to the algorithm. And slowly, the algorithm learns. Right? When it reads one book, they have some understanding. When they read 2 books, they have different understanding. For example, when you learn from first session today, when you go ahead and learn from first session today, you will have some understanding, but not confident. Tomorrow, you will build something, you will get more confident. Day after, you will go ahead and become more confident. So as we keep on increasing the data to train, the models become more and more and more sophisticated. Right? Vectors are also created in the same way. For vectors, we feed a lot of data to the vector models, and then they are able to find the relation, and then they are able to draw the features. Right? So this is vectors. In pre-training, we go ahead and create the vectors and we fed it to the LLM, and the LLM is able to understand the patterns. Right? But understand, when the data is being fed, understand guys, vectors can be for images also. They can be for words also. So vectors are multimodal, which is they can be of videos, audios, images, and everything. Right? Understand, images are a bit easier to understand. Right? If you look at an image, and image is already a mathematical computation. For example, if you take this screen 9020 by 1080, it means it has so many pixels. This is 1 pixel. Now, every pixel is a color, which is a combination of R, G, and B. So now this is mathematical. R is 255. This is 255. This is 255. That means it is white. Right? And then these things happen. Right? So this is how the models are able to make sense, how the data is inputted. Right? So now, when you have gone ahead, taken the data from the internet and everywhere, and you are training the model on the same, you get something called as a base model. A base model is like a newborn child. Right? They know how to eat. They know how to catch things. They know how to cry for help. They know these basic things. But if you do not give them right education, right morals, right moral compass, or right behave to stay in the society, they'll not be able to behave in the society. So what we do is, when we have children or kids at home, we get them to schools. We train them. We go ahead and give them some religious text to go ahead and read. So that based on which religion you are, either the kid is going to trust that maybe this religion is everything or other religion is everything. Right? So we go ahead and we post train. After the human is in the world, we go ahead and train it with some curated information, moral stories, mathematics, science, religious texts, and then they go ahead and build a character. In the LLM world, this is called as post-training. So in post-training, what we do is the frontier labs such as OpenAI, DeepSeek, Anthropic, they go ahead, they put experts. The experts are going to create a list of inputs and outputs. And these are fed to the model again. And the model now fixes the behavior. Right? A quick yes on everyone if you're able to understand what is post-training, what is happening there. Here, this is a costly process. Actual data has to be created here. Right? So we have done this post-training part. In post-training, what we are doing is yes. In post-training, what we are doing is we are now going ahead and training the model on curated data. Let me give you an example. A common issue with large language model is that if you ask them a question, even if they don't know the answer, they will try to go ahead and give you the answer. Because at the core, this large language model is just a next token predictor. So it is their nature. For example, if you go ahead and ask the kid, why have you done this? Right? If it's a 3, 4, 5-year old kid, they will try to make up stories that this has happened, that has happened, and you'll understand that they are just going ahead and mincing the words. They are just making up the stories, right? Because when you ask them the question, they think they are supposed to answer. They don't know any better. So with the models also, if you go ahead and ask model something, they don't know how to say no. And then they are going to go ahead and give you hallucinated answers. So for that, the team at Meta, understand this was a very big problem in 2022, 2023 when ChatGPT came. Right? That model, if you ask for a random question, it will give you a hallucinated bad answer. Right now, it has reduced. So what Meta has done is, Meta has put in some unique data in their post-training. So they told the model, they gave some hypothetical questions which do not have the answer. Which is, take a name of a random book and a random author and say that, give me the summary of this random book by the random author. Give me the summary of Perry Hotter and what does it mean to say. Now you know that there is no word like a Perry Hotter. There is a book called as Harry Potter, right? But the model will try to give you the answer. So what they have done is, Meta has given them these kind of questions, such as, give me the summary of the book Perry Hotter, right? So model, and for the question they have given this, and for the answer they have given that I do not know the answer. The answer was, I do not know the answer. And they gave multiple of these combinations in the post-training phase so that the model is able to learn that it is okay to say no. Right? So we also go ahead and we also teach our children in the same way that if you don't know the answer, tell us, we are going to help you out. Right? So this is how the post-training works. So in the post-training, we have two methods. There are two methods of post-training. The first method is supervised fine-tuning, SF, supervised fine-tuning, where what we do is we give them a set of inputs and outputs, and the model learns from them, it updates its parameters, right? And the second model is reinforcement learning through human feedback. Reinforcement learning through human feedback. In RLHF, what happens is we don't give them the answer. We ask it to generate the answer. It generates multiple answers. And then we go ahead and tell it that this is the right answer. And whatever things it has done for the right answer, it is going to learn that. And it is going to change the behavior. right? This is how you train most of the animals, right? When you want something, like you want the animal to do something, you give them a treat so that they understand that this behavior is very good, and then they start learning that, right? So reinforcement learning through human feedback and supervised fine tuning. Now things are evolving. So what people are also doing is, understand, in order to do supervised fine tuning and reinforcement learning through human feedback, what we are doing is, the problem here is that you need a lot of data in order to train the model. For supervised fine tuning, you need experts who are going to give you this data into inputs and outputs. And similarly, for reinforcement learning through human feedback, you need to give a human, like have a human who can give the feedback to the AI. That is it a good answer or it is a bad answer? So now the intelligent labs in China have figured out that why don't they go ahead? Why don't they go ahead and use AI for this task? Why don't they go ahead and use AI for this task? So now what is happening is, it is claimed, although the claims are not proved, but based on what China does, it could be true, which is that in order to build DeepSeek, all the data that was used for post training, it was actually created or fetched from ChatGPT and Claude. So they asked ChatGPT to create clean data for training so that DeepSeek can be trained with clean data and they do not have to pay people and they can do it at scale. Right? This is also called as distillation or transfer learning. Distillation from one model and using it for the other. Yes. Everyone, a quick yes or no if you're able to understand everything so far. Yes. Revise the recording, Satyaprakash. Right? Cool. Now we are going to take a quick break of 5 minutes. Understand, guys, we have to learn a lot of things right now. There are so many terms that I have to tell you, and we are also going to build something that is my promise. So let's go ahead and take a quick break of 5 minutes and then come back with more energy. Please get up from your chair, do some stretches and come back. Do not look at your mobile in this meanwhile if you can. Right? Go ahead, guys, take a break and we'll see each other after this timer ends on the screen. Hello everyone, welcome back. Please write I'm back in the chat if you are back. Please write I'm back in the chat if you are back. Yes, wonderful. So everyone, I have a small request to make. Okay, so let me first answer some common questions. Okay, so all the recordings, all the resources will be available to you. We are going to share a feedback form in the end. Just fill that feedback form, and all the resources, the reports that I was showing, that will be available to you for 100% free. Right now, there is one request that I want to make to everyone, that we are doing this free AI sprint to make sure that more and more people are able to understand that AI is not a technology that should give you anxiety. It is actually an opportunity through which you can go ahead and do more and achieve so many things that your true potential can allow you to. Right. So please go ahead. It is my request that I have put a link for the LinkedIn in the chat. If you go there, comment your honest feedback in the chat, comment your honest feedback in the comment. That will help us get to more people, and more people should be able to join and leverage these kind of free opportunities. So what you need to do is, whatever you are feeling in the session right now, go ahead, go to that link that I've shared in the chat, click on it, go to LinkedIn, repost that, comment on that, react on that, so that people are able to understand that you are here and they are able to leverage this opportunity. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to do that before I resume the session. Everyone, go ahead. 1 minute I'm giving you. Go to the chat and then give it to everyone. Yeah. People who are on YouTube, you can just go to my LinkedIn profile, search for Ankit Shukla on LinkedIn, and then you can get the link from my profile. Yes. Wonderful. Let's move forward. Thank you, everyone who has. People who are on YouTube, you can just go to my LinkedIn profile, search for Ankit Shukla on LinkedIn, and then you can get the link from my profile. Yes. Yes. Now let's move forward. So we have talked about the prompts, the tokens, the vectors, and the mathematical representation of these vectors is called as embeddings, right? Like the zeros and ones that I've gone ahead and talked to you about, right? Now, understand all of these are, right? All of these are numbers, and numbers need to be processed. Before that, let me tell you one more thing. Listen to this very carefully, everyone. This is an important part, okay? I'm giving you two sentences. The first sentence is, the bat flies in the sky and eats insects. And Sachin uses his bat again to smash a century. Right? I hope everyone is able to understand the two sentences. Right? Can you guys tell me what is the difference between? Can you guys tell me what is the difference between the bat here and the bat here. Very good. Yes. Very good. So now understand, how are you able to understand that the bat is, we are talking about an animal? Because you are able to see fly, you are able to see insects, you are able to see eat. Eat and flies are the word that tells the sentence that yes, this actually we are talking about a animal which is bat. And here when we talk about smash a century or Sachin, we are able to understand that right now we are actually talking about a bat, which is actually a instrument through which we can play. Right? This is an object. Right? So how do the models know this? So now, before 2017, we used to find the meaning of every word by the usage of that word, which is we were considering one word at a time. But then some people from Google's brain and Google's DeepMind team, they understood that if you want to really understand the meaning of a word or a sentence, you should look at the full context. You should look at the full context. Right? So rather than looking at one word at a time, what they did was they understood the whole sentence, which is Sachin. Let me take this here. Yes. So they wrote it like this. Sachin smashed a century with his bat. Right? And then they compared it with every word, which is Sachin made a century with his bat. Understand, I am a bit simplifying the situation for you because in reality, these are tokens, but for understanding at high level, this is good enough. Right? So now every word would be compared with every word, right? Sachin, full context. Sachin and century. This tells that we are thinking about cricket. Sachin about bat. That means this bat is actually, we are talking about an object. So accordingly, the vectors are going to change. Right? So every word is compared with every other word. And then we get the true or contextual meaning. Right? This part is called as attention. So every word or every token is attending to the other tokens to make sure that they're able to understand the meaning better. This is called as attention. And there is a benchmark paper from 2017 or 18 called as Attention is All You Need. Right? Even if you do not know how to read paper, just give this, like search for this paper on Google, give it to ChatGPT and ask it to explain you like a 5-year-old. Right? So this is attention. Right? And now one more thing, right? Now understand, in order to do calculations, historically, we have been using CPUs. Our computers have CPUs, central processing units, where we are able to go ahead and have threads, right? Now, in order to do these mathematical operations where there are a lot of vectors, to understand vectors are range of numbers, large numbers, right? Long numbers, right? Similarly, you have to compare every other number with the other number. So it is going to create multiple matrix multiplications. Matrix are the set, are numbers which are also a set of numbers. Right? I'm sure in your 9th or 10th or 11th grade, you guys have studied about what metrics are. These are like big numbers. Right? Now, in order to multiply these numbers, CPUs are slow. They cannot do good parallel processing. Right? They cannot do good parallel processing. Right? So people understood that where is it that we have been able to do parallel processing. So people understood that in order to create games, in games we create scenes. And in order to render scenes, we need parallel computation. And that used to happen with GPUs. So GPUs are good with parallel computation. That is why the GPU has become the heart of this AI revolution. Right? So we have gone from LLM, post-training, pre-training, post-training, and then we talk about attention, and then we are now at GPUs. Right? This is how the things are being connected. Right? Attention. And now in order for attention, we need high quality computing. So we have the GPUs. And that is why, how you know that, why we have moved from, let's say, why NVIDIA is 10x the valuation of what it was 5 years ago. Right? And this we have also discussed. Yes. Now, when you are building the model, that is called as training the model. So manufacturing process of a model is called as training the model. Right? But when you use the model, that is called as inference. So when you use ChatGPT, you give it a prompt, it gives you the answer. That part is called as inference. Right? I'm just telling you the word because it is going to be frequently occurring in the AI vocabulary. Right? And now there is one more question that I need to ask you guys. Okay. So yes, we are going to do this session for about half an hour more, guys. Then we are going to take a break for tomorrow. Okay. So be there with me for about half an hour, 40 minutes. Cool. Okay. But I'm sure you guys are like, tell me in the chat if you guys are liking the session. Tell me if you guys are feeling interactive and liking the information that you are getting. Yes. Yes. Now understand this. Now understand this. Okay. Let us try to think from a very high level. Okay. So understand that if you look at a very high level, then the LLMs are actually doing one of the three jobs. You give some kind of input to the LLM, and understand, guys, what I'm telling you is evergreen information. I can jump to the tools, but what tool I'm telling you today, tomorrow it is going to go ahead and remain. It is going to go ahead and remain, became irrelevant. Right? Now, here is the mental model that you should understand now, and this is going to help you beyond just the tool information. Okay. So when you given to any kind of input to the LLM is doing one of these three things. Either you can use the LLM in order to understand something, or you can use the LLM in order to transform something, or you can use the LLM in order to generate something. For example, if we map the use cases, if you want to understand a particular technical concept, that what is LLM, what is RLHF, what is fine-tuning, you give the context to the LLM, you give the question to the LLM, the LLMs helps you understand that. Right? So LLM is helping a human understand the concept. The second part is transform. TRANSFORM. After this session is done, I'm going to take the transcript. I'm going to put it to ChatGPT and I'm going to say that please create notes or summaries from the same. That is called as transformation. You can transform one piece of information from one to another. Here, you can use translation. One language can be transformed to another language. That is called as translation. One whole essay can be converted into a summary. Right? One image can be converted into another image. That is called as transformation. Right? And the third is generation. By understanding the context, the LLM can go ahead and generate new information. So I can go ahead and give LLM a simple sentence that write an essay on this. And then it is going to go ahead and generate the complete essay for me. I can go to Cursor and ask it to create an app for me, and it is going to write all the code for me. So the mental model is that LLMs can help you understand, transform, and generate content. Now, because of this, you are unlocking so many potentials. So whatever use cases that I have given you initially, these are all applications of understand, transform, and generate, UTG. Right? In the advice and support part, if you are able to observe, the LLM is understanding you and it is generating the information for you. Right? In the customer support agents, it is understanding the whole context of your company, and then it is generating the answer for the employee or for the customer. Right? So you need to understand the three terms: understand, transform, and generate, and then you should be able to go ahead and leverage LLMs to your own use cases. Right? Now, there is one limitation, or maybe two big limitations of LLMs. Okay, there are two big limitations of LLMs. One is obviously hallucination, that they make wrong claims with a lot of confidence. This is although reducing, but is not going to be zero. Right? Second is the context window. Context window is how much information can an LLM take at any point of time. Input plus output. Right? Input or output. Right? So LLM have these limitations and some more, but these are the important ones. Now, let's look at how this limits. Let's say let's talk about practical use cases. How many of you know about Granula as a product? Yes or no if you have heard about Granula as a product? Yes. So Granula is your smart meeting note taker. You can see many messages from people in the chat who says that I am joining from this meeting note taker. And then this meeting note taker is going to help them create the summary. Right? So how Granula works is very, very simple. How Granula works is Granula or Fireflies or Otter or Readwise, these many things. So what they do is they are called as smart meeting note taker, as Sai has mentioned. They go ahead and get the meetings transcript. So either they join you on Zoom, or they join on Google Meet, or they join on Teams, and they are receiving the transcript. And from the transcript, they give the transcript to the large language model. And the large language model, it generates the summary. It solves a real problem, because if I'm doing so many meetings, if I do not know what is there in the meeting, if I'm not able to recall, that meeting is wasted. So summaries really help. So it solves a problem, right? Now, they are giving the transcript to the LLM, and then the LLM generates a summary. So can anyone tell what is the instruction that they have given to the LLM? What is the instruction that they have given to the LLM along with transcript? What they would have written? Tell me in the chat, guys, what they would have written. Yes, very good, Shivang. So they would have written something like, go ahead and transform this into something, right? Yes. Let me show you what is the prompt that they use. Okay. Look at this. So they might have given this kind of prompt, which is, so they have the transcript. Now they are putting this prompt along with the transcript to a large language model like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, right? And this is what they are saying. They are saying, you are an expert chief of staff and note taker. given the following raw meeting transcript, generate a structured and actionable summary that includes the following sections: meeting title, date, key decisions, action items, open questions, and everything. Right? And this is sent to the user. And the user is happy that now they do not have to go through the complete meeting. So understand what is happening with Granula is, this is called as a system prompt. Right? So system prompt, which is written by the product managers or the engineering team at Granula, the system prompt along with the transcript is sent to the LLM, and the LLM generates the summary. This is called as a system prompt that I have shown you right now. Right? So now you can imagine that products such as Granula, ChatPID, and multiple AI products that you are using, all of them are using some or the other kind of system prompts. Right? A quick yes or no, everyone, if you are able to understand this. Yes. Similarly, ChatGPT would also have a prompt. ChatGPT would also have a system prompt that you are a helpful assistant who help people in multiple ways. For audio to text, there could be multiple other models, such as Whisper and Google speech to text. Right? Now, let's move a bit forward. Right? We are able to understand that how products such as Granula are created. Right? Now, let me talk to you about one more product. The product is MakeMyTrip Myra. What she does is, what this AI bot does is, you can go to MakeMyTrip, or most of the travel platforms have these days. What you can do is, you can go there, you can ask that I want an itinerary for 3 days. I have to go to these places. Help me with the hotels and the flight bookings, which are at the cheapest price. Right? So it is going to understand your request and it is going to show you the option. You just have to go ahead and press on the book button. Right? This is how Myra works. Similarly, another example is, there is a product called as Notion Agents. So in Notion Agents, you can automate so many things. So when your engineer is attending a meeting, in a meeting, they say that I have gone ahead and completed these tasks. The Notion agent is going to understand this, and in their Notion dashboard, they are going to mark these tasks as completed without engineer having to do that. Right? And Notion agent can understand your calendar. It can also go ahead and automatically do the tasks for you. If someone has written something that create a PRD for this, so Notion agent is going to understand your calendar and it is going to go ahead and write the first version of PRD for you. Right? So here what we are doing is, we are using the natural language in order to take action. These are called as agents. Understand, so far we were using LLMs. We were using LLMs in order to take information and transform that information, or generate the information, or transform, understand, or generate the information. Right? But now what we are doing is, we are taking action. And when your AI starts taking action, it is called as an agent. When the AI starts taking the action, it is called as agent, which is, agent is a LLM plus 2. Right? Can you guys give me example of some other agents before I can help you understand what agents are? Like, how does this work? Anatan is not an agent, is an agent platform. Give me an example of agent, guys. Yes, Lovable is an agent. You just don't go ahead and generate information. It actually helps you build a website and deploy a website. Vercel is not Boltis. Vercel is just a platform to deploy. GitHub Copilot. Amazon Rufus. Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. Yes. Enough. Amazing. Now, look at this. So understand, guys, all of these things are very fundamental. All of these things are very easy and fundamental if you understand them clearly rather than with the jargons. Okay, so understand. I'll give you example of MakeMyTrip. Okay. So on MakeMyTrip, what happens is they have, let's say if you want to search on MakeMyTrip. If I go to MakeMyTrip, let's say I am visiting a city. Let's say I'm going from Delhi to Bangalore, maybe tomorrow. I'll click on search. Yes, one more information, guys. As a part of AI Builder Sprint, we are doing offline events across about 10 to 12 cities across the world, right? Further information would be shared to you on the last day where you can come meet us in these offline events and show what you have built in these AI sprint. So we welcome you all over there as well, right? So now coming back to this, understand, I just click on a couple of buttons and then I have this. Right. So what is happening at MakeMyTrip? So what is happening is MakeMyTrip would have, let's say, a database, right? So MakeMyTrip has a database where it might have written that this is a flight number. This is where it is taking the takeoff from. This is the destination. This is the cost. And this is the time of departure. And this is the time of, what do we call it? Arrival. Right. So MakeMyTrip would have a database at the backend where they have mentioned all of this. Either they are maintaining it by their own or they are consuming it through other airline providers. Right. So they would have a database like this. Everyone, a quick yes or no if you are able to understand this. MakeMyTrip would have a database like this, which looks like this, where there is information about the flights. Yes. Now look at this carefully. Okay. When I search for a flight, let's say I am on the website and I search for a flight. Let's say I want to go from Delhi to Bangalore. So what will happen is this database is connected to the website with something called as API. So API is called as Application Programming Interface. This is the way through which two systems are able to connect with each other. Right. So the engineer at MakeMyTrip would have written a code where you can give. So they would have written a code where you can give an input, the city, the from city, the to city, where are you coming from, where are you going, and time or date. And then by taking these three parameters, it will search in the database. And then it will search and it will return what? It will return the list of flights. Right? Everyone, a quick yes or no if you are able to understand this. I am helping you understand how the system works at the back end. Only the MakeMyTrip part. We are going to insert AI in just a moment. Right. So now if you are able to understand this carefully, what we are doing is, in order to fetch the list of flights from one place to another, I need, which API do I need? So here the API is search, right? /search is the API. And I also need the from city, the to city, and the time. Right? So I need four things. These three variables and one API endpoint. This is called as endpoint. or API destination. Where are you going to get the data from? Okay, so now we have the API for search. Similarly, we would have an API for booking. In order to book a flight on MakeMyTrip, what you need is, you need the flight number, you need the date, and you need maybe the reservation type, which is it economy or booking or something, right? So here also understand, I simplified the API into two things, the endpoint and the variables, right? The variables. So whenever I need to go ahead and execute any action on any website of the world, whether it is my product or any other product, I need the API, right? And the nuance with the API is that it needs, a structured input. Structured as in the name of the API plus the variables in the structure. Otherwise, it will not be able to understand what to do, right? Tell me, everyone, if you're able to understand what is structured input, the API and the variables. Yes. So we have the structured input. Now understand, I have already told you LLMs can do what? LLMs can go ahead and understand, transform, and generate content. So what you can do is, so understand, this is how agents work. Look at this carefully, everyone, now. Look at this now, guys. What we are doing is, first, we get the request from the user, which is, user says in natural language, book a flight from Delhi to, I'm keeping it simple, Bangalore on 11th July. Right. Now, what we will do is, we will not give it directly to the LLM. We will write a system prompt. The system prompt is, MakeMyTrip has following APIs. Okay. API name, search. API purpose, search for flights between two destinations. Right? Then API inputs, what is it that it needs, which is destination city, origin city, and time. There could be more variables, but I'm just keeping it simple, right? And then it is done. Similarly, I can have an API for booking. I can have an API for multiple other things. So different actions then that MakeMyTrip can do. It can take your payment. It can go ahead and apply a discount code. It can go ahead and do the search. It can go ahead and do the payment, and so many things. For all of these would have created the APIs, right? So now what I'm going to write, MakeMyTrip has following APIs. Understand the user query. So user query is the prompt that is given by the user. Convert into the right API request and send to the user for confirmation before executing that. Everyone, please look at this very carefully and tell me if you are able to understand. So just we are giving the context and then we have created an agent. Everyone, look at this prompt carefully and tell me if you are able to understand this. Look at this carefully. Afkar, I think you need to go back to the recording and revise. If you are missing on databases and APIs, you'll not be able to understand further. Right? Now understand, but you cannot rely on LLM to do all of these things, right? So you have some kind of guardrail. So what we are doing here is, we have something called as structured output. So we ask the LLM we give one special prompt, which is called as structured output, where we ask the LLM that, boss, please go ahead, plan a 2-day trip to the Paris next week under 8,000. Under 80,000 rupees, right? So the LLM is going to understand the request and see from the API request that what it can do. And it is going to generate this structured output. This is a structured output. It could be a XML or a JSON, which is understood by your API. So LLM is doing the work of converting the user's natural language query into something your API can understand. And then there are multiple APIs. There can be a search API, search hotel, search availability, currency converter, get weather. It is going to get executed. So this is how LLMs are created. There is something called a structured output that the model is going to give it to your product, and then your product is going to consume it, and then it is going to execute. So Notion agents, MakeMyTrip agents, your intelligent assistants across copilots are created using the structured outputs. Yes, you can also use MCP. So understand, guys, whatever I've told you right now, what MCP does is, MCP is just a method of expressing your technical API into a format that the LLM can understand. So this is like a mini MCP that I have just written in front of you. We'll talk about MCPs later on. Right? Cool. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about a couple of more important things from here. But right now, let's go forward. Okay. So we have talked about, yes, we'll talk about MCPs and all later on, guys. First, understand we are here to build. So today we have talked about multiple things, right? We have talked about why AI is a, okay, I'll give you the revision from here. So just remain here for 10 more minutes. We are going to build something before you go. Okay. So no links in the chat, Akhil, please. Right? Yes. So we started with scene 1, which is what is happening in the AI world. My verdict or my advice to everyone is, please embrace this opportunity with both the hands. Make sure that you are able to go ahead and leverage this opportunity to the maximum. It is such a powerful, beautiful piece of technology. You have almost the same power as the most intelligent person in the world. The people in the US are using the same model, and you are also going ahead and using the same model, right? So you have similar powers, go ahead and leverage them. Now, the barrier of knowledge has been removed. You are limited by your own imagination, right? Then I helped you understand that what the world thinks about AI, what is coming in the reports. What is coming in the reports is that people who know AI are going to remain relevant, and they are going to get better salaries, no matter how you take it as. right? Then I gave you multiple use cases map. And after that, I told you that AI is on day zero right now. There is so much potential going forward. You have to be at the frontier in order to leverage this opportunity. This is once in a lifetime opportunity if you know how to go ahead and get that. Right? And then we talk about learning GenAI, and I told you a common mistake. The common mistake was that people generally start with the machine learning statistics and then they got overwhelmed and then they quit. Understand the fundamentals is good, but understanding how the model works at the back end is only going to feel you make less motivated. Start with a purpose, right? This is a very applied piece of technology. Understand how to drive a car rather than how do I go ahead and fix a broken car or start making a car from scratch, right? If you know how to drive a car, that does not mean you should know how to repair a car or how to create a car from scratch or how the engine mechanism works, right? You are not only a student, you are someone who has to go ahead and earn for your family. So make sure that you are focusing more on applications. After that, I told you multiple terms that can go ahead and help you out, which is tokens, vectors, embeddings, GPUs, inference, pre-training, post-training, supervised fine-tuning, RLHF, and attention. Right? RAG we are going to discuss later. Right now, today we don't have time. Maybe tomorrow I'll give you a brief of RAG. Right? And then we talk about how these real-world agents are created. It is actually an LLM who is doing everything. Right? And then the API is connecting to the LLM. Right? And then I told you how granular MakeMyTrip works. Notebook LLM we can discuss tomorrow. Right? Now, one more important thing. Okay, let's go ahead and build something. Right? So guys, I am giving you, so I'll take maybe 51, yes. So we are 10 minutes away from closure. What you have to do is, I am giving you something to build today, right? I'll show you how to build. And then you have to give the feedback of the session before you can go so that I can give you the recordings and all the resources on all the notes. Okay. Yes. A quick yes or no in the chat if you are able to follow everything so far, guys. And tomorrow, please bring your friends. Share that AI sprint link with your friends so they can also get as much value. Knowledge should not be kept to yourself. Knowledge is the only thing that actually increases when you go ahead and share it with the world. Yes. So let's build, right? Now, guys, I'm going to tell you a very simple platform. I'm going to tell you a very simple platform. That very simple platform is Google AI Studio. Right. So on Google AI Studio, this is what the platform looks like. This is what the platform looks like. Okay. So what happens in the platform is, look at this very carefully, everyone. So on Google AI Studio, you can build almost any kind of app these days. You can build an Android app. You can connect it to Google Drive, Google Sheet. You can build a web app. You can do so many things, right? You just have to write the prompt here. Better than writing, you can click on this button and you can go ahead and speak out what you want to, right? You can also attach images. For example, you are inspired by a particular design or you want to replicate a particular product. What you can do is you can just go ahead and click on the plus button, take some screenshot and then put them here. And then you can ask AI to create that for you, right? Now, using this Google AI Studio or any kind of vibe coding platform is stupidly simple. What you just have to do is put a prompt here, right? What are we building today is, tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, how much you hate meetings. 1, you love meetings. 5, you absolutely hate meetings. 1, you love meetings. 5, you hate meetings. Three is not an answer, guys. 3 is being too modest. You don't have to be modest and moderate in this room. Just. Yes. So let's build an app that helps you understand how much time and money that you are wasting in the apps, that you are wasting in the meetings. Okay, so the purpose of app is very simple. Okay, so tell me guys, if you want to build a product, an app or a small web page where you can tell the company that how much money are they wasting in the meetings, how would you do that? Tell me the approach. If you want to tell a person a cost of a meeting, how are you going to tell them? Think like a product manager. If you want to tell someone what is the cost of a meeting, how are you going to tell them? How are you going to visualize it for yourself? Yes. So you are going to have your hourly rate. Right. So you are going to have your hourly, like first you will have your monthly rate because most of us are paid in months or weeks. Then you are going to create your hourly rate. And then you are going to calculate an average time, like the average money that your company pays to employee. And then you are going to multiply the number of hours, hourly rate, and something else, the number of people, right? And then you can calculate that this is how much the meeting is costing you. And then in a fun way, you can convert this into some fun that, let's say you are wasting almost an iPhone worth of money in this meeting, right? A quick yes on everyone if you're able to understand this. Yes. So very simple product, right? And you can also showcase it on your Instagram, right? Or your LinkedIn. So now this is it. What we are doing is, understand guys, we are not trying to solve a problem, we are trying to build, right? So what I am doing is, I am going to give this prompt to the Google AI Studio. Understand? This is not a rocket science prompt. You can also go ahead and do this. Okay, the prompt is, look at this carefully, everyone. Yes. Build a single page web app called Meeting Money Burner. Purpose, show knowledge workers how much money their meeting costs. Right? For the first version, build only this. And input for annual salary in INR, assume 22 working day per month. Show the compounded early rate, computer early rate. Update live as a user types, no submit button. Design, I have given the prompt. Handle edge cases, empty input shows negative salary. So this is important. Whatever are the edge cases that you can think, which is someone can go ahead and enter the negative rates or negative hours. So you can go ahead and look at this, right? And then do not build any other features right now, because this is just version 1. So we have visualized the whole app in our mind, but we are only giving one feature to the AI. Right? So this is the prompt number 1. When I give the, understand, I have not given complete context. I'm only giving what I need right now, because if I give too much information at once, it might hallucinate. Right? Hallucination is directly proportional to the context that you are giving. Right? So now, this is the product. Meet Money Burner. If I write my salary, let's say 24 lakh rupees, it should be able to tell me that hourly I make this, and per minute I'm making this. Right? If I do a 15-minute sync with someone, this is what I lose. And if I do 30-minute sync with someone, I am going ahead and doing this. Right? So I have written a simple prompt. In the prompt, guys, I am not giving you a master class on prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is stupidly simple these days. If you want to write better prompts, give your prompt to ChatGPT, ask it to make it better. Right? A quick yes on everyone if you're able to understand this. right? Now I have created one. After this, I will give it another prompt. The another prompt that I have given is this. Working well. Where is that prompt? Yes. So now I have gone ahead and given this, which is now add the meeting cost feature below the rate display after version number 1, which is, yes, I'll give you the prompts, guys. Just wait a moment. Right. So now let's create the cost feature. Input meeting duration, number of attendees, assume all the attendees are earning the same rate, and then show the meeting hours, and then below it, a comparison line that outputs the number in contact picked from the list, that is 12 plates of biryani or something else, right? Keep everything from version 1 unchanged, right? I have not decided the design guide. I'm going to give you one more resource, guys. Right. So now I have done this. I can just put a meeting duration. I can write if 10 people are attending the meeting, then this meeting is going ahead and costing us this much. If I write my salary, 15 lakhs, you can understand we are spending this much into meeting, which is a dynamic we can get away for a trip to Goa. Right. So this is what we have been able to build, and it will take you 5-7 minutes to do. Right. So you are only limited by your imagination. Now, guys, if I go ahead and give you a task, would you be able to go ahead and do it to uh, 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 do it on your own on Google AI Studio? Yes. Right now, I am only going to tell you how to share. You can just share it. Tomorrow, I'll tell you how to publish. You should have a reason to come tomorrow, right? So I'll teach you that tomorrow. But today, your task is your task is create a resume roster. What is a resume roster? It is going to take your resume or anyone's resume, and then it is going to roast it. You know the meaning of roasting, right? Tell me yes or no, guys, if you'll be able to build this. Google AI Studio is free. Yes. Guys, I am giving you 5 minutes to do this. You can use GPT in order to generate the prompt. That's okay. I'm giving you 5 minutes to do this. Yes. And also, guys, right now we are talking about Google AI Studio. Tomorrow and day after, we'll talk about how to put these apps into production with your full control. Right. So that is going to come. Roasting your resume. We have to create this. Go ahead, guys. We'll talk about railway, Versal, anti-gravity, cursor, everything. But right now, let's take the baby steps. Five minutes, and don't go from the meeting because I have something very special for you. Everyone, write yes in the chat if you're actually building this. Yes. Yes, everyone, look at this. Very important before you can leave. When you go ahead and build this, like the review, the resume roster, post it on LinkedIn, tag us. We should be able to interact on it and maybe you'll get some more impressions. Now, I have also created one more guide for you. Understand? When I was prompting, many people were asking that how did I give design recommendations and everything, right? So many people, the problem that they face is they do not know what are the exact words to use. They always put modern, dark, light, these kind of things, and they think that they see that their designs are like everything else. Okay, because you do not know the design vocabulary, because of which you are not able to give the right prompt. Tell me yes or no if you face that problem. Because you don't know what words to put, you put some generic words and you're not able to get the right answer. Okay, so I have created this guide for you, right? This is made to work with LLMs, where what you can do is just go ahead and look at what are the multiple design things that are possible, right? This is minimal, this is Swiss, this is new brutalism, this is glass morphism, right? What are multiple kind of gradients that are available? What are color combinations that are available, right? So that you can go ahead and make your design like a pro designer. Right? This is free. I'll share it with everyone who is going ahead and sharing the feedback of today's session. So now the concluding part, I hope you found some value in the session and you actually built something. Go ahead, guys. Scan this QR code and leave your feedback so that we can send you all the resources and also take your name for the certification. Go ahead, everyone. I'll also put the link in the chat. The QR is there on the screen. The link is in the chat. People who are on YouTube, they can go ahead and do this. Yeah, Sina, you can just set up the spending limits. It generally do not charge us money. You have to add the card, but generally it has not charged me so far. So this is what I can say. But put a limit there so that even if it wants to, it will not be able to charge you. Yes, I have sent a link in the chat. Everyone, please go ahead and fill the feedback form. If you fill the feedback form, it will help us send you the certificates later on, send you the resources later on, and also send you the guide that I have just shown you, along with the slides and everything. Yes, I hope you guys found value in the today's session. Tomorrow's session is going to be a bit more practical. Today we spent some time in order to give you the foundation, but I'm sure you'll not be afraid of so many vocabulary things that are going to come to you when it comes to LLM. So you are more AI literate now. Understand, guys, there are only these 10, 20 things that you need to know and get confident in. Everything else is just a combination of these. So once you get good with the fundamentals of what I've told you right now, you are going to become more confident going forward. And today we just scratched the surface with Google AI Studio. It's a very simple tool. Tomorrow and day after, we are going to understand how to take this code onto GitHub, how to use GitHub, how to put it onto your local computer, how to use anti-gravity cursor, and then how to go ahead and maybe put it onto a production environment using Versal or Railway or some other platform. Right? So come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be much more, I would say 10x more interesting than what we have done today. Today was a foundation. Tomorrow is going to be execution. Tomorrow, same timing, guys. Tomorrow, same timing. Yes. And it is my request that everyone who has joined today, please bring at least 1 or 2 friends tomorrow. Yes. And whatever you are building, take a screenshot, post it onto LinkedIn, tag me, tag HelloPM. We will go ahead and give you some feedback, some likes, or some at least some reach so that it is able to reach more people. right? And don't be afraid to put whatever you are building in public. That is how you learn. People give you feedback, people use that, and then you learn that what should I have done better. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Yes. So I hope everyone got the value from today. Today was only 5% of the value. Tomorrow and day after, you are going to get so much value. Please do not miss it. Yes. Everyone, tell me finally in the chat, out of 1 to 5, how valuable did you find the session today? Wonderful. If you like the session, please leave a feedback on LinkedIn. That will help us help more people. And my request is that whatever the WhatsApp group are you the part of, please send the link of the AI sprint over there. I am sure when everyone is spamming everyone else out there, you will be seen as someone who is actually contributing value, because people, when they find this information, this high quality information through you, they are also going to appreciate it. So go ahead, be that change and help more people out there. Yes. So tomorrow task is very simple, guys. Go ahead and just explore Google AI Studio. That's it. You do not have to revise anything. The video is already on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, copy the transcript, do the summarization for yourself, but we'll also send you that. On your LinkedIn, guys. On your LinkedIn, you can go ahead and share all of this information. Wonderful. Great, guys. I'm going to take a break now. Thank you, everyone. Bye and take care. Let me just share the YouTube recording. Just give me a moment. Yeah, by tomorrow or day after, I'll share the I'll share that content with you. Just give me one moment. Yes. Here is the YouTube link, guys. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Bye and take care. You have a lot of potential. AI has a lot of potential. When you are going to combine both of these potential, I am sure you are going to become unstoppable. And you can do so many things which were not possible just a few years ago, right? In the end of the third day, I'm going to give you some very important mindset or perspectives so that you are able to see how to leverage the AI beyond your work and your job. Stop thinking small and start thinking big, right? Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye and take care. We are